Hello everyone. In today's video, I'll show you how to add a conditional column in Excel and automate the process for all your future data entries in just a few simple steps. Instead of manually writing an if formula every time, I'll show you a much easier way to achieve the same results. For this tutorial, I'll be using a dummy data set with 100 rows from a logistic company. We'll use the delivery days column to create a new conditional column called delivery speed. Here is how it will work. If the delivery days is 2 days or less, we'll return fast. If it's 5 days or less, we'll return normal. And if it's more than 5 days, we'll return delayed. Now that we've defined the conditions, let's go ahead and create the conditional column. This is Datalytics, where I help you kickstart your data analytics journey. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. I'm super excited to have you here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss any of my tutorials. Now let's get started. First thing to do here is to close the source data sheet, which is this sheet with the data set. This is because I will be loading the transform data into a new worksheet. And closing the source sheet avoids getting an error in Excel. Next, in a new blank Excel workbook, locate the Data tab and in the Get and Transform Data section, click on Get Data. Select the From File, then select From Excel Workbook. This opens your file directory where you can select the file that has the data sets you want to use. This is mine. I will select that and click Import. This opens the Power Query Navigator. Here you can see that my workbook has different sheets in it. And since I will be working with just one sheet, I will go ahead and select the shipment report sheet. Here is a preview of the sheet. Once I confirm that this is the sheet I want, I will go ahead and select the transform data option. This then processes the queries and finally opens the Power Query editor. Now you can see that the sheet has been loaded successfully. As I mentioned earlier, I'll use the delivery days column to create the delivery speed column. Again, the conditions I'll set are if the delivery days is less than or equal to 2, then delivery speed will be labeled fast. If it's less than or equal to 5, it will be normal, and anything greater than 5 will be delayed. Next, locate the Add Column tab and click on it. Locate the Conditional Column option and click on it. This opens the Add Conditional Column dialog box. It says add a conditional column that is computed from the other column or values. I will go ahead and start by giving the column a name using the new column name box. I'll call it delivery speed. Next, I will move to set up my conditions. Here we have the column name, that is the column you will use to set the conditions. Operator, the operator you will use in comparing the values. Value, the value that must be met in the condition. And output, the desired result you want to return if the condition is met. I'll start with if my column delivery days is less than or equal to 2, then my output should be fast. If this was the only condition, I can go ahead and use the else condition and label it as delayed, but I still have another condition to set. So I'll click add clause, and this brings up another if boxes. This is else if, which means if it doesn't meet the first condition, check the second condition. I'll say else if my column delivery days is less than or equal to 5, then my output should be normal. For the else condition, if both if conditions are not met, meaning anything greater than 5, in this case, should be labeled as delayed. I will type delayed and I'll go ahead and check that my conditions are correct, then click OK. This immediately creates the new conditional column, delivery speed. Here, you can see that for delivery days 2, we have delivery speed as fast. For delivery days 5, we have delivery speed as normal. For delivery days 9, we have delivery speed as delayed. If I scroll down, I can see that the conditions worked correctly. You want to always check and ensure that the results are correct since you'll be setting this up as an automated process. I'll go ahead and change the data type to text to ensure Excel treats these values as text. Once everything looks good, then it's time to load the data. I'll head over to the Home tab, and in the Close section, I'll select the Close and Load. This brings up two options, the Close and Load and the Close and Load to options. In my previous Power Query videos, I prefer using the Close and Load to option because this lets me choose how and where I want to load the data. But for this tutorial, I'll use the Close and Load option since this is the only query I'm working with and I'm sure I want to load the result as a table. So I will go ahead and select that, and this loads the data into the sheet as a table and opens the Queries and Connection panel where you can see the query name and details. I will go ahead and change the table style to my preferred style. Now for the best part on how this process is automated. In the source file here, I have added 20 new rows to the data set to represent new data entries in the case where you always have new entries in your source data. This brings the total number of rows to 120. I will save this and close it. Always ensure your source data is closed, especially if you are working on it on the same computer as the report file, or else Excel will throw an error when you want to update the report file. Once this is closed, I will switch to my report file sheet. Here, I have 100 rows of data. Instead of manually doing the process again, all I need to do is go to the Data tab, locate the Refresh All option, and click Refresh All. Immediately, this updates the table with the delivery speed column applied for the new entries. No stress, no manual work, just refresh and any new data entries will be included with the conditional column. You just have to sit and allow Power Query do the work for you. And that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. If you learned something new or found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, share it with someone who might benefit from it, and subscribe for more tutorial videos. Thanks for sticking around until the end, and I'll see you in the next one.